Hello, boys and girls. Please grab your English Red folder and a pencil and come to the table located beside the computers. The last time we worked on prepositions, we learned to find the prepositions and the prepositional phrases at the end of sentences. We are going to review this skill, but first let's review our signal. Remember, our signal is the pencil tap, and it sounds like this. So when you hear that, you will answer my question or do whatever I've asked you to do. Let's begin. Read this sentence. What are the nouns? And what is the verb? What words link the two words together? And how do you know that? Good. So the preposition is down, so you will underline down. Let's try another one. Read this sentence. What are the nouns in this sentence? And what is the verb? What words link the two words together? And how do you know that? Good. So inside would be your preposition. So go ahead and under inside now. And let's try another one. Read this sentence. What are the nouns? What is the verb? What word links the two words together? And how do you know that? Good. So in is the preposition. So go ahead and underline in the sentence. And for our next one, go ahead and read the sentence. What are the nouns? What are the verbs? What word links the two words together? And how do you know that? Good. So through is the preposition. So underline the word through. Great job. So let's try one more. Read this sentence. What are the nouns in the sentence? What is the verb? How do you know that? Good. So at the park is the preposition. So underline that phrase. Great job reviewing what we had learned in the last class. So today, we are going to begin learning about sentences that have prepositional phrases at the beginning. Remember that prepositions are a group of words that behave as an adjective, changing the noun or the verb in the sentence. Something to think about when working with prepositional phrases is that at the beginning of a sentence, they will always be at the beginning, and they will normally end with a comma. So let's look at a few examples of this. Let's look at this sentence. It says, after soccer, we go out for pizza. We know after is the preposition, and the prepositional phrase would be after soccer, since the noun comes after the preposition. I will circle the prepositional phrase. This sentence tells me what they did after soccer, which they went out for pizza. Let's look at another sentence. This sentence says, under the bridge, there is lots of water. We know under is the preposition, since that's anywhere a mouse can go. So under the bridge would be the prepositional phrase, since bridge is the noun coming after the preposition. I will circle the prepositional phrase. This sentence tells me what is under the bridge. Lots of water. Now let's look at another example. In the doctor's office, the woman waited. We know in the phrase, in is the preposition, so in the doctor's office would be the prepositional phrase, since doctor's office is the noun coming after in. I will circle the prepositional phrase. This sentence tells me that the woman waited in the doctor's office. Now let's look at a few non-examples. These examples may confuse us when we are looking at prepositional phrases. So the first one says, the problem is being dealt with. We know the preposition isn't at the beginning because there is no comma in the sentence, and also problem is not a preposition. Is being dealt with would be the prepositional phrase. A way to think of this would be to think of it, what is being dealt with? Is it the problem? So therefore, the problem is the noun, and the rest of the sentence would be the prepositional phrase. The next non-example we are going to look at says, the woman waited in the doctor's office. This sentence is similar to the one above that was an example. This one has the prepositional phrase at the end. Notice there is no comma in the sentence, and the sentence begins with a noun. And our last non-example says, they live in the country. We know they and live are neither prepositions, but looking at the list, we know that in is a preposition. So, in this case, in would be the only thing we would circle as the preposition. So now that we have a basic idea of prepositions and prepositional phrases at the beginning of sentences, we are going to do a little activity where we are going to try and find them and dissect some sentences. So now I'm going to have you read some sentences, and then I will ask you some questions. Remember to wait for my signal, which is the pencil tap, and it sounds like this. Read this sentence. What are the nouns? What is the verb? What would be the prepositional phrase? Great, circle that. Let's try another one. Read this sentence. What are the nouns? What is the verb? What is the prepositional phrase? Great job. Please circle that. Now let's move to the next one. Read this sentence. What are the nouns? What is the verb? And what is the prepositional phrase? Great, circle the phrase. Now let's try one more. Read this sentence. What are the nouns? What is the verb? What is the prepositional phrase? Great job. Please circle the prepositional phrase. Great job going through those with me. I can tell that you definitely are getting the hang of prepositional phrases at the beginning of sentences. Now you will work with your peer. So let's look at these two baggies that I have laid out here. Student 1 will draw a card from baggie 1 that student 2 is holding. Student 1 will read the card. Student 1 will then say the preposition and circle it. Student 1 will then underline the prepositional phrase. Then, student 1 will explain why the underlined portion is a prepositional phrase. Student 2 will make sure student 1 responds correctly. And if an error is noted in student 1's response, student 2 will explain the correct answer and tell why that is the correct answer. If student 1 comes across a sentence without a preposition or a prepositional phrase, he or she will say the sentence and will say why the sentence does not have a preposition or a prepositional phrase. Great job working with your peer. You guys did a great job together. So now you will be working on your own. On this worksheet, there are 10 prepositional phrases. I want you to take those and write sentences with the prepositional phrases at the beginning of each sentence. You should have 10 sentences total. If you finish early, write 5 sentences with prepositional phrases in other places besides just the beginning. Great job working independently. So let's talk. Today we learned about prepositional phrases at the beginning of sentences. Let's look at these examples together and find the prepositional phrases. Remember to wait for my signal, which is the pencil tap. So sentence number 1 says, on December 15th, I got a puppy. What is the prepositional phrase? Great job. Sentence 2, after church, we went home. What is the prepositional phrase? Yes, after church would be the prepositional phrase. And let's look at one more. Between the trees, there was a rabbit. What is the prepositional phrase? Yes, between the trees would be the prepositional phrase. And that concludes our lesson. Thank you for working so hard today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Bye, guys.